Welcome, anatomy students. Today I want to do a little lesson refresher review on blood typing. This seems to be an area that most students struggle the most with in our Module 4 of the anatomy course. So I wanted to be able to go over with you guys basically what is blood typing and what does it mean by the different blood types that we have. So before we do that, just a quick little refresher of what's found in the blood. You can see in this diagram that the blood is made up of many different things. Mainly it's the formed elements, which are red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. And then there is also the liquid elements, which is the plasma. Within the plasma are many dissolved substances like carbon dioxide, oxygen, hormones, some waste that gets filtered by the kidneys. There's also many nutrients and fats that are in the plasma as well. The formed elements have different jobs. Your red blood cells primarily are responsible for carrying the oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout the body. The white blood cells help fight with infection, and the platelets help with blood clotting. So that's just a little bit of a review of what components are found in the blood. And as we talk about blood type, we're going to be focusing on those red blood cells because blood type deals with protein markers or antigens that are found on the surface of those red blood cells. So what is blood type? Well, in 1900, Carl Landsteiner discovered that there are 4 blood groups. He discovered that these blood groups were controlled by 3 different genes or alleles, 2 of which were co-dominant, which meant that they can both show up together, A and B. So if you remember from biology class that when you have a co-dominant gene, then that means that if you get one of each of those, that you will actually have both of them show up. So A is dominant and B is dominant in blood type. And then there is a third gene or allele that is recessive to both the A and the B, and that is the O gene. And if you get 2 of the O genes, then you will have that recessive blood type of O. So he called these blood types the ABO blood groups. So we're going to take a little bit closer look at what this all means, how you get each of them, and what it means in regards to what you can and cannot do with the different blood types. So we actually get 2 genes from our parents. Remember that. We get one from mom and one from dad. So there are actually 6 different ways that these 3 genes can combine together. So if we take a little bit of a look here at this ABO system chart that's down at the bottom of the slide, we're going to start with type A. So if you have type A blood, then that means that your red blood cells have A protein markers or antigens on the surface of the red blood cells. The way that we get this is either by getting 2 A genes, one A gene from mom, one A gene from dad, or we can also have type A blood if we get one A gene from one of the parents and we get a recessive O gene from the other parent, because the O is always going to be recessive, so unless you get 2 O's together, it will not show up. It will get hidden by that other A or B gene. So in this case, it gets hidden by the A gene. Now, type B blood, you're going to have B antigens. It's a different protein marker on the surface of your blood cells that are known as the B antigens. And the only way to be type B is to get 2 of the B genes, one from mom and one from dad, or to get one B gene from mom or dad, and then the other parent gives you the O gene, so again, that O gets hidden. If you are type AB, this means your blood cells have both the A antigens and the B antigens on the surface of the red blood cells. So you actually have both of those protein markers on your cells, and the only way to be type AB genetically is if you get an A gene from one of your parents and a B gene from the other parent. And then the last blood type is type O, and this is the final combination, and that is getting 2 of the recessive O genes, one from one parent and one from the other. So the only way to be type O is to get an O gene from both parents. And this actually means that you do not have any of the protein markers. Those A or B markers are not present at all. Your blood cells are basically bare. So what this means as far as your immune system is concerned is what your body will actually see as foreign invaders and what it will see as being part of the body. So starting over here with that O blood, because type O people do not have any markers on their cells, their body will see an A antigen or a B antigen as being a foreign invader because it's not used to it. So their immune system will actually attack any blood that has A or B antigens on it because of the immune system having antibodies in the white blood cells that will actually attack those markers because it thinks that they are foreign invaders because it's not what our body has on our cells. If you are type AB, you actually do recognize both of those markers, so you can actually get any of the blood because your body will not see any of it as being foreign because it's going to be used to all of those protein markers. So you don't have any antibodies in your immune system against the blood types. If you have type B blood, your immune system has antibodies against the A marker because you're only used to the B marker, so your body will attack any A markers. And if you're a type A blood, your body is going to attack B markers. So you will only be able to, your body's only able to recognize the A markers, so if you get anything that has a B marker on it, your body would attack it. Anytime a person is given a blood that your body will attack, it can obviously cause some major problems and even death because of this, because basically your body is attacking itself in these cases. Okay? So here's another chart, just kind of giving you another way of looking at this, and this is to kind of give you an overview of what percentage of these blood types are generally found in the population. So type O blood is only about 6.5% of the general population has type O blood. Type A is 34.3%, that's the highest. Type B blood is the lowest with only 1.7% of the population, and then AB is 4.3% of the population has that. And then if you look at the far column over to the right, the possible genotypes, this just shows you the possible combinations of genes that can give you that blood type. So type O, like we were saying before, you have to get 2 of the O genes, 2 of the recessive genes from the parents, one from mom, one from dad, to be type O, and this is represented by lowercase I. If you remember from the biology, the recessive gene is always represented with a lowercase letter. If you are type A, you can get that either by getting 2 of the A genes, represented by this big I, big A, big I, big A. That means you got 1 A from mom, 1 A from dad. Or you can get 1 A from mom or dad, and then the other parent gave you a recessive O, which gets hidden. So that's 2 ways to be type A. There's also 2 ways to get to be type B. Get 2 B genes, 1 from mom, 1 from dad, or again here, hide that O that you got from one of your parents and get a B from the other. And then there's 1 way to be type AB. You have to get an A gene from one of your parents and a B gene from the other parent. And then since both of those are dominant, you will actually have both of those markers. Now, again, we talked about how your body will attack the foreign markers that it does not understand. So when we talk about blood donations and needing a transfusion, these 2 middle columns kind of deal with what you can and cannot get and receive. So if you are type O blood, you can only receive blood from other O blood people. And that is because your cells do not recognize any of those antigens, so any blood you get cannot have any antigens on it. So you can only receive from other O people. However, because you are O without any antigens on it, you are called the universal donor. So type O people can actually donate blood to all the other blood types because the absence of the markers does not cause a reaction from the immune system. Only having a marker different than what you have is going to cause an immune system reaction. So type O people can only receive blood from type O, but they are the universal donor and can actually donate their blood to all the blood types. If you are type AB, I'm going to jump down here to the bottom row, type AB blood is going to only be able to donate to themselves because they have both the markers. So O people would reject it because they wouldn't recognize either of them. A people would reject it because they wouldn't recognize that B marker, and then B would reject it because they don't recognize the A marker. So AB blood can only donate to themselves. However, if you have type AB blood, you're in luck because your body recognizes all of the antigen markers, so you can actually receive any blood type. So you're in good shape if you ever need a blood transfusion because your body would be able to accept any type of blood. If you are type A, then that means that you can donate to yourself, and then you can also donate to AB because the AB will recognize your A, but you can only receive it from yourself or O. And then type B is in the same situation. They can donate to themselves or AB, but they can only receive from themselves or O. So you'll see O goes all the way across as far as where it can go, and that's why O is known as the universal donor. All right, there is one other protein marker besides the A and the B protein markers, and that's called the Rh marker. And this was actually discovered while people were studying the rhesus monkeys, and that's why it's called the Rh factor. It's actually named for the rhesus monkey. So if you have this Rh factor, which some people do, then you are considered positive, and that's where that positive comes from. If you hear people say, oh, I'm type A positive or I'm type O positive, that's because that means that they actually have another protein marker on their cells, then that's the Rh marker. If they are negative, then that means they do not have that marker. So if you're negative, you do not have the Rh marker. Okay, so this gives us more combinations of what kind of blood we can have. We can actually be A positive or A negative. We can be B positive or B negative, AB positive or AB negative, O positive or O negative. So this rhesus factor is another thing that has to be considered when we're talking about blood donations and transfusions. So going back to who can receive what from who, again, when we just talk about the ABO protein factors, O is the universal donor. It can be given to all the other blood types, including itself, and that's why the arrows come off of it to all the other blood types in this little diagram here. And then A can only donate to itself and AB. B can only donate to itself and AB. And AB does no arrows coming off of it because it can only donate to itself. Okay? But it is the universal recipient because you can see all arrows point to it, which means that it can accept any of the other blood types. Now when we look at the Rh factor, if you are positive, here we go again, that says that your body has that factor, so your body will recognize that protein marker, and therefore you can receive either the positive or the negative blood, because again, the absence of it is not going to be a problem. It's when you have it and you're not used to it that's a problem. So if you're positive, you can receive any positive or negative blood. If you are negative, though, that means your body does not have that marker anywhere on its blood cells, so you can only receive negative blood. You can only receive other blood that also does not have the Rh marker, or your body will attack it. All right, so now we're on to a question. Let's see how well you understand this now. So we've got this film star. He's actually from black and white film, so it's been quite a while since Charlie Chaplin was around and actually was famous. But if you talk to your parents, they'll probably know who this is. And he was involved in a paternity case, which means someone was trying to see or challenge and say that he was the dad of their children. So the woman who brought this case to courts actually had two children. One of the children had a blood type that was A, and the other child had blood type B. Now, the woman's blood type was O, and so was Charlie's. The interesting thing here is that the judge actually awarded damages to the woman and said that Charlie had to be the father of at least one of the children. So let's think about that. Was that correct? Was that judge correct? Let's take a look. Here's the cross that we would do if we were going to do a Punnett square of the genetics of Charlie Chaplin and this mom. The mom was type O, so that means she is going to have two of the O recessive genes. So let's say she's on the top part of this Punnett square, two little eyes. That's what represents O. Now we also said that Charlie was O, so we'll put him on the side. He's two little eyes. So when we fill in these Punnett squares like you do in biology class, we can see the only combinations are two eyes together. So that is O blood. So the only type of blood children that these two, Charlie, could have with this mom would be type O blood. But one of the kids was A and one of the kids was B. So I would have to say this judge was not correct. Let's just take a look here. In order for the mom to have children with A blood and B blood, she would have had to had a father. The father of those children would have had to be AB, because they would have had to been able to give the A gene and then also a B gene, so that there would have been 50% chance of the child being type A and 50% chance of the child being type B, with them both hiding the mom's recessive O's. Okay? So in this case, that judge was not correct, and this just goes to show you how little we knew about how blood type was inherited back in the day. And actually, this judge would probably needs to be ordered to take an anatomy class in order to get this right next time. Okay? All right, so hopefully this has helped a little bit with the blood typing and makes it a little clearer for you of how this works and what it means when you have the different blood types. If you have any further questions, you need to please make sure you contact me. As always, you can give me a phone call, give me a text, or send me that email. I will get back to you, okay? And have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next time.